got, you know, a loss 2 days ago or whatever. I think they're still definitely a solid team.
Yeah, no kidding. And 3 straight championships would be quite the feat.
Yeah.
Something that they're definitely going to want to get under their belt. I mean, it's impossible to argue against the success of this team, but if they could separate themselves from the pack, no one has won more than 2. They want to be the first to do it. But into the bans, Lucian and Braum going to be taken quickly off the table. A nod to Xpecial.
Yep.
2 players of the game, both on Braum, and they say, nope, not today.
Not today. And Lucian actually getting banned by Apex, I think, a lot, actually. I feel like Apollo has been the one banning that more often than not here. Ryan's actually off the table here. And the thing is, I believe that wasn't even picked or banned in the Apex Energy series. So Apex saying, no, who we know you're good at it. Apex themselves clearly not really wanting to play it. So actually a one-sided ban in that respect.
Yeah, so Vladimir going to be taken off the table here. Interesting to see if Zyra and Swain are going to poke their heads up here, because we don't have Nidalee or Kindred banned yet. Generally, the ban, if one gets banned, both get banned. People don't want to give away either. Now Kindred taken off the table puts CLG in a situation. Do you want to give up that Nidalee first pick to Apex? And if so, are they comfortable returning, you know, with Swain, with Zyra, with some of these other first-round power picks?
That was my thought as well. Is CLG have to identify what the 3 champion pinch is. If it's only 2, if it's only Nidalee and Swain that matter, you certainly don't ban it down to 1. If it's 4, you ban it down to 3. If it's 3, you keep it as it is. So CLG deciding what that final ban's going to be, what they're going to trade back and forth. And Trundle, I actually like that, right? That makes me think, yes, they think there's 3 super top-tier champions available. Trundle was something that Apex picked early for Ray in their Game 1 match against Energy, and they said, we don't want to give you the really great bruiser split pusher there to try to beat up Darshan. And Apex have to decide basically between Swain, Nidalee, and maybe one other champion.
Yep, and I mean, they did immediately start hovering that Nidalee. Now, a quick hover to Riven for fun, but definitely going to be the Nidalee lock in here. And now we get to find out what CLG thinks that top 3 are. Is it going to be the Zyra? Is it going to be the Swain? We've seen those come out. Not sure exactly if they do fit these guys' playstyles, if it is a champion that they want to play. You know, if Swain does get picked, we have to remember it can go both top lane and mid lane. You know, who would be the guy to play it? Darshan, Huhi, not really sure.
I could actually see Echo being one of the pickups right here. It was what Ray played to great success when he didn't get Trundle, so CLG knows it's kind of next up in the tier list top lane wise. And exactly, it's one of Huhi's very favorite champions. He told me after MSI, he was so sad that he had 0 wins on his favorite champions at MSI. He was like 0-2 Aurelion Sol, 0-2 Echo. And actually, they don't care about the Swain. It's the Echo after all. And instead, taking the Caitlyn away from Apollo, giving it to Stixxay, and making him move around. But that means he can get Swain for free.
He does if he wants it, and we'll see if he is going to decide to actually go for that. Right now, the hover is just
his favorite champions, the Hecarim, the Malphite, you know.
Yeah, Stixxay getting to Caitlyn, I think, is actually pretty big for CLG. It's a champion that was actually consistently banned away from him at MSI. He had some incredible performances on it. I think he's an amazing Caitlyn player, definitely one of his best champions, and it's something that a lot of people have shown that they're scared of.
Definitely agree. So that was kind of the decision to be had right there. The Trundle one-sided ban, I guess, more important to them than letting Swain stay up in the rotation there. And that's going to be the grab. I think it's kind of interesting, but it's going to be the case. Apex not wanting to show too many cards, though. It looks like they'll grab the Ashe to go against Caitlyn and save the rest of their champions. No support pick, no top lane pick. Swain, no surprise, that at least will be somewhat of a flex.
Yeah, so Swain and Ashe going to be locked in. We do have that Swain flex, can go top, can go mid. Ashe is obviously something as well that has been coming back into priority here. We saw Wild Turtle playing it. We've seen it quite actually a bit so far in the NA LCS, and now we're going to have Apollo taking his turn on it. I mean, the arrows can be extremely impactful. They can also be like pretty hit or miss, right? Like sometimes they're just pretty worthless even if you do hit it on the wrong target. So it's something that you have to be comfortable with. You have to have a follow-up after this initiation. But Ashe is like an incredible initiator and can really get you those priority picks if someone's good at it.
Well, speaking of champions that can get picks if you're good at it, the Bard coming out from Aphromoo here. So Caitlyn, Bard, the bot lane, very scary as a bully duo. They can get a lot of damage output there. And, well, if Ashe can land ults, so can Aphromoo on Stixxay. So teamfight starting is there. Meanwhile, Xmithy getting Rek'Sai for himself. And, well, a nice tank in the jungle.
It's looking good so far. These are what I would say are the 2 signature champions for the CLG bot lane. Bard and Caitlyn. Definitely going to be pretty scary to deal with that. I'd also say, you know, Ashe doesn't match up that well against Caitlyn. I think Caitlyn has a stronger laning phase, and you know, if Xpecial wants to pick into melee supports, which seems to be much more his forte, it's going to be tough if they do end up in this 2v2 against Caitlyn Bard. The poke is absolutely enormous, and it may be a situation where they're having to kind of show their hand as far as wanting to lane swap. You're not going to want to go into that matchup.
Absolutely the case. So we'll see if they want to hide away from that one. Actually goes for a bit of a hybrid. Thresh coming through will make the laning phase a little bit easier.
And the Fizz.
Exactly. Fizz coming through. And the funny thing is, it's still a flex. We can see Tank Fizz top lane. We can see AP Fizz top lane. Or we can see Keen playing a full Assassin Fizz instead of the Swade up there. And so they're saying, hey, CLG, what matchup do you want in the mid lane? Because we've got 3 stars of chance to throw at it.
Yeah, I like it a lot because it is that situation where you kind of take away that last pick advantage a little bit because it's not so obvious where you're actually going to be counter picking. And because of that, you have to play something that you're comfortable playing against either matchup. So, you know, the Riven is something we saw played by Huni, obviously, but I would more expect Darshan to take Echo and maybe see something like Victor mid lane. That's kind of more of a catch-all, something that's been very, very strong so far and pretty high priority itself. They could go a different way, though, and show us something new, so I'd be excited to see that if it is the case, but it's going to be Victor.
Nice. Good call. Yep, so Victor is the champion. A nice sort of well-rounded mid laner.
Yeah.
You can certainly see him go buy an Abyssal Scepter, tank up all the damage, not be too worried about it.
Yeah.
APX are initially swapping the Fizz to the top lane and actually going, once again, Flash Ghost on Keen, which is what he used on Swain last time around, so I don't expect Apex to switch anymore, which means we probably see Tank Fizz up against the Tank Echo in the top lane, and go on down from there. So, Champ Select done. How do you feel?
I like both comps a lot. I feel like there's more of a clear plan from CLGs as far as, like, this is obviously just a very good team fighting comp, right? They have kind of a very well-rounded setup. When you look over at the other side, I think more of like Nidalee is more of like kind of like a sieging champion. It's harder to contribute to the team fights as easily, but I think it's going to come down a lot more to how much they can get someone like Ray ahead, because this is a champion you really want to try to snowball on. You want to try to open up the map, look for assassinations, look for pickoffs, things like that. And with Nidalee having that early game priority over Rek'Sai, I think they're really going to have to get something going.
All right, well, early game pressure going to be a big hallmark of this game. Let us know if it's going to be that way after all. Tweet at LoL eSports, use hashtag APX winner, hashtag CLG win on Twitter, and let us know who it's going to be. But a best of 3, Counter Logic Gaming looking to get back into the foot of things, back into the swing of things after a lackluster day 1 performance. But Apex, undefeated so far, even in games, the North American LCS. How about a really tough test of the defending champions in front of you to prove just how good your team is? St. Vicious has talked a big game, saying that Apex would be a great team, and maybe they can prove it right here in their first game of the match.
So already just loading in, we did see both Ray and Darshan are actually rocking a Fervor of Battle. So this is something that's been picking up more and more. We have been seeing it pretty consistently on Echo top lane now. People are kind of moving away from the Grasp the Undying, actually moving in towards Fervor. So Fizz is actually having that as well. I didn't catch what Mastery Keen was running, but I'd be interested to see if he was doing anything interesting like Stormwave Surge or anything too wacky, but I wouldn't expect it.
Keen did Deathfire Touch last time he played Swain.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
I would expect it to be that as well.
The pause box. Oh no, he has 7% Magic Pen, so it's, unless he's running Warlords or Fervor of Battle, he's running that Mastery.
Maybe he's got that Fervor. He's got the Doran's Blade.
That Fervor Swain, though, you know, get the dagger to open up. But yeah, so probably a Deathfire Touch for him as well. Looks like it's Aframu who's paused the game. We'll figure out what the issue is right now, but CLG, to be fair, have not played on this stage so far yet, this split. They were playing in the other one when they played against TSM on Friday night. But
yeah,
we'll have to see what that ends up being.
Also worth mentioning, you know, who he is going to be running the cleanse, actually. Not something I really expected, as he did make that swap over to it. So pretty interesting. You know, I would have expected either more of like an aggressive summoner or just like TP, as we did see him having for most of Champ Select until the last second he swapped over.
Yeah.
But obviously is worried, I think, a lot about probably that, you know, the Ash Arrow type initiation.
Right.
Something like that I think makes a lot of sense. You know, if you do get hit up by that, that can just be the game in the wrong fight. So he's going to play it safe. He's going to run cleanse, and should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely agree. And honestly, I think as we talk about the cleanse on Huhi a little bit more, I think it makes a lot of sense. You've got a Thresh, an Ashe, and a Swain, all of which can just chain each other's crowd control together. And Victor, like, his job is to be a high damage output champion. He doesn't have a lot of mobility tools, so not dying is like job number 1. Job number 2 is now get damage output out. Cleanse, I think, really helps that. But you're right, not being able to match teleports. Well, I neither have it, so who cares? But normally TP advantage can be a really big thing, but that won't be the case here. Keen high mobility, Huhi with survivability, really, for his choices.
Especially, it's like Cleanse is not really going to help him too much in lane against Keen unless he gets caught in that in that W route. There's going to be other things that would have been preferential summoner wise, and Keen is going to be a pretty big lane bully here on Swain, generally speaking. It'll depend, obviously, down to how the players do actually play it, how many E's, who he's able to land and stuff. But eventually, Swain is going to poke you out of lane, and not having the teleport can be sometimes problematic with that if you actually do fall behind. And we've seen, when Froggen was playing Swain yesterday, how much attention his team was giving him to try to give him the advantage when he was landing against an Azir. And it's like, once you get enough ahead of your opponent, you're building tanky on this champion already. You can itemize Spirit Visage first. They can't push you out of lane. Eventually, you just have to keep basing. You can fall pretty far behind. So it's going to have to be something that they are pretty careful about. But Smithy obviously playing a high-pressure early jungler himself. Not such a farming beast like Nidalee, but the early ganking pressure from Rek'Sai is pretty massive.
It definitely is. So I could see Rek'Sai really tilting things, even though Nidalee, of course, generally a good early-game jungler as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Want to keep you guys updated on what the pause is about. If it was Counter Logic Gaming, indeed, they're saying that they're having some glare on their monitors, a lighting issue of sorts. So again, CLG haven't played on this stage, this split yet. Other teams seem to have been okay on that side of the map, but we'll get that sorted out. We've had a pause for 3.5 minutes so far. Hopefully this will be sorted soon. We'll get back into the game, but otherwise we are waiting to get the first game really underway here as we kind of think about how this is going to play out. I want to mention the top laners again and talk about them a bit. You mentioned already it's Fervor in both these guys, so we're seeing sort of top laners adapt to patch changes a bit more. Like Grasp the Undying got slightly nerfed. Fervor is kind of gone up and down in power over time. So, okay, you have tanks running attack speed marks, running Fervor of Battle as their keystone. And APX have been using Ray, their top laner, the Fizz in this game, as one of the main crutches they use to win the game. And Darshan, meanwhile, I feel like for the last couple of months has been one of the worst performing players on CLG, and actually one that was getting a little bit abused. You'd seen Hanser really take it to him in the TSM set. At MSI was sometimes a pain point for the team as well, and this almost seems like a good thing for Apex. If Darshan's not playing up to his normal caliber, Ray can really take him over.
Yeah, that could be the case. My impression a lot of his play at MSI was more they were kind of picking him into a lot of losing matchups, playing things that were more about the team fight, more about playing for the team, TPing in for the flanks, things like that. With the Poppy playing into things like Echo, you're obviously not going to have as good a time in lane. I think that now that he does have Echo, he should be able to do pretty well in lane. And I think that it will be a point of contention top lane for sure, but I definitely do not think that Darshan's going to be outmatched here by Ray.
Okay.
So we'll have to see. Ray does have one series under his belt, was definitely performing quite well in that, having a lot of resources funneled into him. But Darshan is obviously a top laner with a ton of experience and a lot of confidence is given from his team into him. So yeah, I think they'll definitely be pretty comfortable with this.
Yeah, CLG definitely a very supportive team overall. We had both players say are in chat, Xpecial and Six, they both said they were ready. I've been told from production it'll be under a minute to go until we get ourselves best started back up. And actually the unpause order has been delivered, so we're going to get ourselves back into the game. And here we go. Game 1 of the first match of the day. Counter Logic Gaming taking on Apex. The crowd is cheering. The game is afoot. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Best of 3 has begun. 30 seconds in. Apex on the blue side, CLG in the red.
I'm cheering on the inside. I'm excited for the game to get going too. So.
Woo!
Oh, here we go.
You do it on the outside too. It's okay. Oh, Afromu, 8 gold.
That's an insurmountable advantage.
CLG has earned infinitely more money.
That's true.
Wow,
8 gold, 508. You can see that bot lane advantage already growing.
I wish you knew what area code 508 was. I could give a quick cheer to that city.
Shout out. I have no idea. You could
shout out to 508.
You could have just made it up if you didn't say that point, and people probably would have gone with it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm from the 408. I'm from San Jose. So, I knew that, but we start with 500 gold, so I'm just lost.
Yeah, see, we don't have just numbers. We have postal codes in Canada. So
oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so I can't even get involved here.
You don't even have, area codes on, your phone numbers?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Okay. Well, a recall war back and forth. Keen actually low on health. Didn't choose to recall. Ray going to be helping out with the trap camps. Looks like Shrimp is going to start on Wolves first. I actually want to point something out about jungle routes that via the changes to Hunter's Talons and Hunter's Machete, you actually get more total experience if you start on something like Raptors or Wolves because there's more things to kill.
Yeah.
Because you get bonus XP if you're under leveled and can't start at level 2. So theoretically, Shrimp actually gains slight bonus XP doing this.
And interesting, Afro and and 6 going to be starting here in the top lane. I'm not sure if they were trying to call the lane swap or if they were actually the ones trying to avoid it. I would have thought they had a pretty preferential matchup, but obviously Thresh is pretty high threat himself. You know, if he does catch a hook on someone like Bard, it's a very squishy champion. You can get taken out. They also did do golems, and they actually gave one apiece, so Afro took one. I'm not sure if that was actually intentional or not, but he did get a CS for himself there. Maybe wanted to split XP, or maybe just a little mistake.
Yeah, either way, though, he's got most of a level. The Chime's helping a little bit. Walks down, sees, okay, these guys started Wolves. Now they're in the bot side jungle, so keep in mind the Fizz and the Nidalee are on that southern side of the map and actually already running over to the right-hand side because it's in a lane swap game and they're playing near their duo lane. Even Special's around running into the jungle, making sure everything's going safely.
Yeah.
Shrimp.
A little bit worried for Darshan here now, though, who has been hanging out a long time. And this is kind of like the classic 4v0 situation. And usually you do not stay this long, Darshan, but he could actually be in some trouble if Special can get a hook here.
He's got to flash the hook.
Oh, he doesn't have hook. He has Flame. I'm mistaken.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Leveled it for the camp.
He didn't go for the flash play either way. So yeah, Darshan able to walk away without losing summoners, and he got level 2. He managed to leech that much experience, and
So
Ray did not get to do that.
Yeah, and he may have actually noticed that Special didn't have the hook, because you can see the play buff.
Oh, right, yeah.
Buff on the characters. You do click on them, so it's something that they could have actually noticed. And they are smarter than me, so they may have noticed that.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you get those really tricky situations where you're like, no, I know I'm safe. No one else would know this, but... Well, so far so good. He got free experience. That's never a bad thing. Lane swap otherwise roughly going as normal. Okay, Apex got to take away a wolf camp that they kind of didn't deserve, but other than that, I got to say it's been pretty reasonable. Both turrets should fall without too much trouble. Look at the mid laners, the 1 CS apart.
I kind of like the adaptation here as well from Darshan. You know, yes, he gets a little bit XP. He picks up 2 CS. He does have to blow his TP, but generally speaking, TP is not really used super often early game anyway, so it's not that big of a deal to actually blow that summoner. Something that is a bigger deal, though, is because CLG kind of opted to go top lane, they are going to be giving up this early water dragon, which is pretty impactful as far as having all this extra regen, especially for a jungler like Nidalee, because it's actually combat with enemy champions. An enemy champion has to hit you, so jungle monsters actually don't stop the regen, so you're continuously getting back health, getting back mana, and we can see who he is kind of starting to get poked out here.
And if Keen's already winning his lane by bullying Huhi out, and he never takes damage, he's just going to have that missing mana regen to constantly spam Q, constantly spam E, and I got to say, yeah, for... best pre-5 Drake, easily Ocean, I think, and that's actually a really big deal for Apex. This is nice for them, and this is kind of their payment for choosing to stay in the bot side of the map, and you know, CLG swapped up top, and will they lose a Drake for that?
And just look at how Keen is actually zoning him off of this. He's just throwing down the Q, saying, if you want to get that cannon, you have to walk through this, and it's actually, you know, costing Huhi some CS. It's costing him some health when he decides to go for it. So it is that kind of annoying bird just being zoning constantly. So. You know, he's going to have to be careful. And, oh, it's actually stolen away there by Shrimp. I don't even think he had vision.
I don't think he did either. That was just him throwing a javelin down the line. And, well, that's, what, a 10 health swing?
Gotta be lucky to be good.
You do have to be lucky to be good sometimes. So props to Shrimp. Takes a big Krug. And, yeah, he's actually behind in levels under Smithy. Some of that was Ray poaching some of the XP. Actually, no, he got no CS during the lane swap, so he had managed to leech experience from the lane. He wasn't actually taking the jungle camps away. But either way, it's actually been Smithy farming quite nicely. Shrimp now meeting level 5, and Ray will walk top lane along the rest of his duo. And we have version 2 of the lane swap, or part 2 of the lane swap, going very close to equal as the turrets will fall. CLG holding a slight gold lead, and I really got to give props to them for doing this because it's 100 from Smithy and 20 on Huhi, who's actually, despite how hard that match was being, farming well enough.
Yeah, he's doing very well for himself, and they do actually knock down that turret a little bit faster, and we can see that Darshan kind of has been the beneficiary a little bit of this. You know, he has picked up a bit more CS for himself, and the wave should be pushing back towards him still, so he's going to be able to actually set up a freeze here if he would like, and he's getting quite a bit of CS.
Wow, look how much effort Apex puts in. I really like the early game play here. Teams that manage to get Dragons and Rift Heralds without really falling down in the early game, I think, are teams that are playing very well. This is going to reset if they switch it one more time. They've got to be careful with this Rift Herald. Its patience is almost run out. But they are once again playing the plan of Shrimp.
Afro and Styx are coming over, though, and they're actually looking to check this out, and that reset could cost them a little bit here.
Finish it.
They're pretty low, though. They got to get out of there.
Okay, they're going to smite it, and it is going to go to Ray, but now Shrimp's got to run away. He's low in health, goes right back in. What? CLG! But the first blood comes through as a special drops to Smithy. The chase comes through as Keen gets one stick safe flashes over the wall to retreat, but now Apex on the other side of the map. They stepped on a cupcake, but it will be a disengage. First kill did go to CLG. They did get more gold from the fight overall, but Apex did secure the Herald, and they gave it to Ray.
Yep, so once again, that's 3 straight games they've actually given this buff to Ray, and giving him that top lane priority is the plan against Darshan here. So Darshan's going to have to be careful. That is going to be a disadvantage that he does have. Thankfully for him, he is up 20 CS right now, so it's not like some insurmountable thing, but it lasts 20 minutes, and it's actually very, very impactful.
It's definitely a big deal right now. And let's see how the teams choose to play this game out. Do watch that fight one more time.
Yeah, so here comes a Smithy from the backside. Huhi is able to tag him with the laser. Smithy finishes him off for that first blood, but Stixay actually able to flash back over the wall after going through that Bard portal. So a little bit of an early engage there by Afro. He does get caught out, but goes out around pretty okay for CLG. I mean, they get first blood. Both sides are blowing summoners, so pretty even besides the Rift Herald, which was already going to be gone.
Yeah, and then, honestly, this team has a 600 gold lead right now, and Smithy actually running into Shrimp's jungle as Afro is backing him up, but the Wolf Spirit spotting them out, knowing that they're around. CLG definitely not hidden as this happens, but it's a 3-person stack up against Ray on that top lane tier 2 turret. Very similar situation against Darshan on the bot side. As Keen and Huhi trade blows, and look at this, yeah. Smithy, Stixay, and Aframu battling for this top lane tier 2 turret that will be going down. We have a very extended lane swap now. A third turret take as the teams swap back and forth and constantly mirror each other in 3v0s.
Yeah, one thing that's going to be kind of nice for Apex, though, is this is a pretty fat wave that CLG is actually going to have pushing in. And this is going to go all the way to Ray, and I think they actually want to just keep going at this point because they don't want to just give up this wave for free, so they're going to try to push us all the way to the inhibitor.
Yeah, CLG faster on the play, and Ray only level 4 has to give a bit of deference to these guys. It's going to be hard to get the CS.
Too. They have to give that up, and Darshan's going to pick up that farm now.
That's the benefit of having Echo instead of a Fizz, is your ranged wave can at least exist to a certain extent. The wave dies a bit faster, and they're able to get quite a bit more done. So, well, Ray does eventually get some of that XP, but Darshan, level 5 to Ray catching that level now. I think that's still advantage CLG.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, they're up 1.5k. They can actually potentially just keep this tier 2 turret alive, as it's still about 2/3 HP. And look at the CS, between Darshan and Ray here. He's actually picked up a lot of early farm, and we talked about how much priority Apex likes to put on Ray, but if you fall too far behind early, it can be tough to actually compete.
Yeah, CLG, their hallmark has always been playing the map exceptionally well in lane swaps. They're one of the very best early game teams in the North American LCS, and here's another sort of data point to keep that one going. They have really done a great job in the early game. As we crest 10 minutes in, they're still keeping that 1,500 gold lead. Really solid stuff by CLG. Darshan's gotten that massive CS lead because of CLG playing the map better.
Yep, you also have to credit Smithy here for actually keeping up with Nidalee in the early game. Nidalee is an absolute early game farming monster, and anytime you're within striking distance as far as that farm goes, you're going to be happy. He also picked up first blood for himself, so he's actually going to be ahead in gold over this Nidalee very early. And I'll be interested to see if he still goes and just straight picks up that Sightstone, as has been kind of the common trend with Rek'Sai players, but he's actually going to finish. Wow, he has a lot of gold.
Yeah.
That is something. He has the Cinderhulk,
Ruby Crystal,
and he has the full Sightstone as well. So definitely going to be very strong here early on.
Definitely agree. He's going to be able to get that vision down. Shrimp did go Chilling Smite himself, and we'll see if he does the move style build of buying a Sightstone as well on top of that one. Right now, not the case. And we have now a Mountain Drake coming through for CLG. So they've withstanded the Ocean Drake regen. They haven't really landed against them very much, and that's been fine. But now CLG gets to knock down turrets really fast, as well as taking further neutral objectives. And it's a nice one to take. As they get later on in the game, it's going to mean a whole lot for them.
Certainly, this was kind of their disadvantage from that lane swap, was just the dragon, and now they've evened that out. So they're ahead really in all ways moving forward here. Some bright spots, though. Keen has completed his Rod of Ages. He's doing pretty well in the mid lane. We'll see if he can start to kind of bully Huhi out. But Huhi has just been playing so far back, so safe, and doing a great job. And now we can see Smithy sharking his way over to the mid lane.
Looking for the attempt on the Keen. Raven form already on and doesn't get any more damage done. Huhi will actually crest 100 minions first here in the matchup. And again, against an Ocean Drake, what looked like a bad matchup. Well, Huhi's actually winning the lane. So all credit to him, doing very well up against Keen here, who got the sway, and CLG was kind of allowing that to get picked up second round blue side.
Yeah, he's just playing it very smart. He's CSing well. He's staying back out of kind of the aggression range of Keen, and he's just making it a farm lane, which is great. I mean, if you trade, you're going to lose those trades eventually because Swain is going to sustain back up. So he says, guess what? I'll just never trade. We'll both farm it out, and they're going to get their advantages elsewhere. One nice thing for Ray, though, he did actually have a freeze going for quite some time. That wave has been stacking up. He did catch up to Darshan in farm. Obviously, Darshan has a pretty juicy wave here to collect himself, but it's nowhere near the deficit that there was earlier, where, you know, Ray only had a couple CS to the 30-odd of Darshan.
Yeah, it's definitely a whole heck of a lot closer. Darshan will be in pretty much close, actually, in XP. If you kind of watch the XP bar of Ray, he's most of the way to 8 down in the bottom left corner of your screen. Darshan sitting at about 7.5 right here. So, yeah, that freeze really did do quite a lot for Apex's top laner, and now his ability to actually fight back should be reasonable.
I think that's really why they gave up the Earthdrake. They just didn't want to risk having this fight with their top laner already behind. If you allow those minions to just go to waste and you lose the dragon fight, the game could actually just be done. So they wanted to make sure that Ray was in a position with this Rift Herald buff to pick up the CS and to become relevant.
And if Apex keep wave pressure, CLG will never hit a turret anyway, so it won't even do anything as far as dragon buffs go. Smithy looking for the play, jumps over the wall. The flash to follow onto Ray, takes a shark to the face, and Darshan moves it around to the side. Now looking for the stun on this one. Ray still running out. A flash knockup into the stun from Darshan. 2 flashes burned for, but it's gonna be enough. There's CLG picking up a kill. Darshan getting a gank for Smithy and getting a kill.
Yeah, perfect CC chain there from Smithy and Darshan. They set it up with the flash knockup. Some pretty big summoner committed there. Both flashes used by CLG. Ray didn't even flash, so you know, a lot of commitment there, but they get the kill, and that's the important part.
Really nice stuff by them. So gold lead staying up at about 1,000. All the farm that Ray got a while ago shrunk that gold lead a bit here, but a blue buff steal coming in, and Shrimp was forced to take it away. He didn't want to risk getting stolen, so no blue to Keen, but still a blue buff steal, not a bad thing, especially considering these lanes were matched up 2-on-2 anyway. The fact they saw Smithy up there meant they could go into that side of the map. They got something done.
And who he, as you predicted earlier, is going to be working his way probably towards that Abyssal, has the Negatron, gets the first Hex Core upgrade, so he has great wave clear with his E, and if he does take any damage, he's obviously going to be reducing a lot of that from that magic resist. So at the same time, we have Special Aframu both sitting around level 5. As the sports do hit 6, there is more playmaking ability, especially, you know, from Aframu, who is very close to that 6. And, you know, we all know the Bard ultimate can be a fantastic initiation, but at the same time, Apollo has been having that ultimate online for quite some time, and we're waiting for his first strike. You know, when is he going to look for these arrows?
Afro, by the way, is level 6 and hasn't yet learned his ultimate. He's got 3 points Q, 1 W, 1 E. He just hasn't ranked up R yet. I don't know if he forgot that he leveled up by hitting a chime, but I just hope he doesn't like screw up and just, oops, 2 points in healing.
I'm sure he'll be fine, but could be just something he wants to just wait and see if the opportunity dictates that he levels
He like
up.
actually needs the heal.
Yeah, something like that. It could just be something like that. So we'll see.
He learned it finally. Key into the mid lane, taking a bit of damage. He's going to be okay with this one, though. Level 10 on him. An attempt now into the bot side jungle. The blue was stolen by Apex, but now the red can be stolen by CLG. Smithy smites it to make sure it does not go into the wrong hands. That means Stixay is buffless, sadly.
Ooh, if I'm Stixay, though, those are the wrong hands. Smithy,
I know, right? Buff. Come on! It's okay, you know. Just going to feel bad for that one a little bit. Maybe Stixay will spend some more time in the gym. He'll get buff eventually. I got a couple of laughs. Thank you for the couple chuckles out there, guys. I heard
that one guy. He's the freak sport. He's like, I got you, dog.
1 on 100, you know. It's good enough for me. Thanks, man. Gold lead staying at 1,200. And it's interesting because talking about Apex as a team, back in the Challenger days, they were a very slow team. Almost all their wins were to Dragon 5 and with Shrimp just hard farming on Rek'Sai the entire game. And they played very, very slow, very gold-focused games. I was like, okay, that's how Apex plays. I think it's not the perfect style. But, you know, that's just what they want to do. CLG actually playing pretty slow as well. We haven't seen a lot of action really out of these teams. And some of that is the threat of Ashe and Bard means you don't get to play very aggressively because you'll get picked off if they outnumber you. And I think we're just seeing a much more patient game due to some of the threat of these engage ultimates. Yeah,
definitely. I think both teams are pretty confident with their chances moving forward into the game. So they don't feel they need to take any big risks. But, you know, one of the major downsides that I would say about playing, you know, always playing super, super methodical, always going for really long games is that you allow a team that has playmaking ability like CLG more time to find that fight that gets them back in the game. So if you have a lead, sometimes it can just be best to just pounce on it and try to, you know, go for that killer instinct, just try to end out the game. But you know, it's obviously easier said than done to be able to always pull that off.
Definitely agree with you on this one. Right now we're seeing Darshan push the top lane in maybe as some way of leveraging an advantage. 103 minions to him. Ray will be in the mid-80s after he finishes this wave. And it's still Darshan holding ahead in that one due to some of CLG's early game plays. Nice bit of poke out from Shrimp, and Afro actually running out of health kind of rapidly. Looking for the ulti right there. Flash out of Special. Otherwise, Shrimp was able to pounce away on that one. You saw CLG look for their early aggressive play. Keen in the front line, looks for the root, doesn't quite get it. But again, drops down to half HP. And only a little bit of poke on a Huhi. Counterlogic Gaming holding a slight lead in terms of cooldowns and health presently.
CLG will certainly take the trade. You know, ultimate from Afromu, traded for the flash from a special, obviously is pretty advantageous as long as they can't be punished for that right away. But the cooldown is much lower. You're always going to take those kind of trades, and now they're looking to secure themselves a Water Drake here.
Flank TP in from Ray. Hook comes across. This is going to be the battle for the Dragon. A nice smite comes through. Smithy actually doesn't even smite. He just gets it anyway. An early smite by Shrimp happened, but Darshan taking a bunch of damage. He's got to ult out to stay alive. Flashes out instead, and a big burst damage out from Huhi, but he's low as well. The shark comes around. Darshan does go down, and another kill comes through. That's 2 for APX, actually. CLG did get the Drake, but it's APX who wins the fight.
Yeah, and Keen actually kind of called Darshan's bluff there. And Darshan actually was throwing his parallel conversions backwards, assuming that Keen was going to take the Lantern and get out of there, it looked like. And as a result, he had no shield from it. He didn't have a stun. He wasn't actually able to pick that up. And after he got ignited, he basically had no heal coming in from his ultimate. So gets picked off there. And a bit of an outplay from Keen, kind of just 1v2ing Darshan and Huhi for quite some time and coming out on top. Well played by him.
Yeah, very well done by them overall. Yeah, CLG made the play first. They had already rotated Darshan down, but Ray's TP flank certainly worked, and it was a great fight for them. They got the mid turret afterwards, and now we're looking at another play, though. It looks like, ooh, Darshan gets arrowed in the face, gets hooked in. This is so bad for Echo. He's going to drop just like he did 12 seconds ago. Is there an Echo in here or something? Because he's gone already, and now CLG running away from their own blue buff. 6-8 trying to zone him out. Smithy could try to smite this.
And there is that Ash Arrow. It's going to be taken by Smithy, though. I did see it go over. Special's low, 3-man knockup.
Flash knockup, they get Special. The Thresh is gone. Shrimp jumps over the wall. Bard ulti. Again, a Flash Force. That was, this time, I guess Apollo's, yeah, to get away from that one. I saw he had no summons, but I didn't see him on the screen. But Apollo burning both summons to get away from the Bard ulti. So Afro's burning flashes, but he hasn't caught any actual targets yet.
Darshan, though, pretty ambitious, I have to say, with that TP. The team was pretty far behind, and the Shark just gets dropped to take out a minion or two. He's asserting his dominance, marking the territory.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about wave clear tools, very rarely are they actually ocean-themed, but in this case...
I knew exactly where you're going.
Yeah,
as soon as you said wave, I'm just like, oh no. Yeah, he TP's right in. Apollo has the ult ready. Ash Arrow, one shot, one kill. Picks it up. So far, so good for the Ash.
All right, and this means the game is now within 500. Counterlogic Gaming up 1 Mountain Drake stack. That's kind of nice to have, but otherwise, Apex have done a great job of coming back in some of these fights, making some very good plays. And look, okay, Energy was maybe a bit of a weak team. You 2-0ing them doesn't mean very much. Defending champion CLG, you're doing well against them. Okay, Apex are very quickly being realized as a real contender to the throne.
Keen has really been impressing me, honestly.
Yeah.
He looks great on Swain. Really knows what he's doing, and here is that TP coming in once more. You know, you can see the idea, but look where Stixay is right now. He's up by the Wolves. Smithy up by the Wolves. They're too far away. Even Afro running straight down here. They're trying to get in as fast as they can. There's no chance. Darshan doesn't even have his ultimate to buy time. He can't, you know, TP in, zip around. You know, there's just, it wasn't going to work. But now Apex gets confident, and Smithy makes them pay. He's able to actually smite this away, lands the smite on the blue buff. The 3 guys stack up. Here comes Smithy, Flash, Unburrow, gets all 3, gets the kill, and Smithy kind of, you know, makes up for that little oopsie from Darshan.
Yeah, definitely. So at least a 1-for-1. But still losing your Echo's not great, because now Ray is up in farm, and he's still got the Rift Herald buff, by the way. It's going to last another 8 minutes or so on him. So, yeah, good luck being Darshan now. He's only 1-2. And ooh, they are missing the hook right there.
Calculated.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. No problem at all. All right, well, they're all sharing the top lane wave clear duties. 4 people up in that lane, which means Apex are first to go back into the mid.
Rapid Fire, actually, the first pickup here from Stixay, so could just be something where he feels like there is going to be a lot of threat on him, and he wants to be able to have the opportunity to just kind of poke it out. Also, obviously, Rapid Fire, fantastic in siege situations. The proc works on turrets. You can shoot from further. You know, Hurricane is the more standard of the Zeal items.
We'll probably see it later.
Yeah, we certainly will, I think, but even just seeing it first is obviously something a little bit different. I think he's just scared of the Fizz, scared of the Swain, scared of these guys getting on top of him. He wants to have that range.
Right, I agree it's probably the main reason. I'm curious though, like what if it's like, oh, we got a Mountain Drake, so I am going to go for this because that one hits, that 50% bonus damage because it's pre-mitigation true damage. Like, I'm actually very curious, and this is one of the things that I really liked about the idea of Mountain Drake, because I know there were some players like, what about the RNG? What if it's imbalanced? What if I get really lucky? And there's, ooh, good dodge. And there can be some element of that, but what I really enjoyed was the fact that players might have to adapt to the game situation, be like, if Mountain Drake, I actually go Rapid Fire Cannon instead, because it's now better. And that, to me, is actually one of the things I enjoy most about the game. And we'll pretend that Stixxay is doing maybe some element of that. Either way, mid lane pressure is on. Mountain Drake certainly doing some extra with the turret. They're wearing it down below half here, but the wave clears in.
Honestly, it lends more credence to what you're talking about, the fact that they're immediately grouping, they're looking to siege, they have that Earth Drake. They have Caitlyn, fantastic sieging champion already. Parallel convergence from Echo. Also the Victor gravity field that's stunned. Both really good zoning kills to zone your opponents off of the turret and allow Caitlyn to shoot away on that with the rapid fire with the Mountain Drake.
Ooh, nice hook on Darshan, a javelin afterwards as well. But look at the left-hand side, it's Keen getting a bit isolated by Xmithie, but only healing off one target is not a lot of health. He pops Zhonya's, but he popped it early. Stixxay got his ultimate back in about 3 seconds here, so they can snipe once again and look for a target. Shrimp, low on mana as well, can't heal much.
And look at the turret, it's about to fall. Next wave, it's certainly going to go down as Stixxay is going to be able to poke away at that. So CLG kind of flexing their muscles, saying, you have to hard engage on us. And with Apollo not having that arrow, he can't do so. He's going to get caught by the Bartle.
I don't think it was actually good Bartleby here, but they're going to get enough damage, and they're going to get him down anyway. It all layers up just fine. Stixxay gets the execution kill. But it's now mid lane tier 2 under fire, and it's a 5v4. There's just not a lot of damage left here. APX was forced to heal, and they have to flash away. Now the Shark on Darshan doing a bit of damage, but it still takes Fizz. It's not too much. Hooked now onto Xmithie. Into the back lane goes Keen. 1 versus 4, but that's a bit too much for him to take, and he goes down. He gets the kill. A continued fight from CLG. 2 picked off. Both carries are down. They retreat safely.
And out of nowhere, CLG just groups up. It seems like APX had no answer. I mean, this is a team that was in the gold lead, and they just see 2 mid lane turrets. They give up 2 kills, and that was pretty impressive stuff from CLG to be able to just recognize how much more powerful they were in that group fights. They're saying, you know what, Nidalee is not going to be able to enter these fights without dying to Victor. You can't use that gold on your champion. And Ray even, he's having trouble getting in. Keen did get into backline, but he just simply wasn't tanky enough. And it all started, obviously, with Apollo getting caught. He did not have the Ashe arrow because it already did miss earlier on Huhi. Maybe a little bit of a miscue, but it does allow them to set up here, and they are able to pick up that first kill. And then it continues. We see Swain coming around from top lane. He's going to be looking for the flank. They don't want to give up 2 turrets in a row, and as he comes in, Victor is just going to unload his full arsenal onto him. He's going to get ignited up to deny that healing, and down's going to go Keen.
They just focus him down, and honestly, Xmithie and Darshan were able to take so much damage that the rest of the team was safe to just fight its way with only 1.5 items there. It worked out nicely. And again, very well done to the CLG squad.
Yeah, really.
1,000 gold up.
Really pouncing on the fact that the Ashe arrow was down. I think that was a reactive move somewhat from them. And, the Ashe arrow is a fantastic initiator, but at the same time, it has a pretty lengthy cooldown. It's not something that you can just get away with missing for free.
Definitely the case. So, CLG doing a good job. Now up 2 Mountain Drakes as their stack, which means they can keep pushing ridiculously fast. Baron's also going to be super quick, by the way. 2-item Caitlyn going for another Zeal. Yeah, that's going to get burned down if CLG ever wants to go for it. So there's, very heavy notice now. Apex, beware of the top side of the map.
I'm interested as well to see that Keen actually did not decide to go for Spirit Visage. Most people have been going that kind of tankier version of Swain, and he's building into an Abyssal, so he's going to pick him up some MR. But having that passive from Spirit Visage is massive, and just the extra HP. But here comes Xmithie looking for the initiation.
Oh, he couldn't quite land the down, but that's a 3-man Bard ulti. Land at the stun, get some damage across, but a nice lantern brings Apollo to safety. Now on the front side, arrow hits Xmithie. The Zhonya's popped by Keen. In the back line onto Stixxay. It's Ray looking for the kill. Trying to get him, and yes, Stixxay goes down. Apex to keep going. Ray will not die. A double for Shrimp, making a 3rd kill coming through. And a triple for Shrimp. 4 kills to nothing. What a great fight for Apex.
Disaster for CLG as Apex strikes. Ray cleans up the AD on the backside, and they're going to go straight to Baron. I don't think Hui's going to be able to have anything to say about this, as these guys are all pretty healthy, if you don't count Ray, and it's looking like it's going to be a free Baron.
It looks a little bit free, although they're going to make him try to pay for it. He looks to fight Keen, but Keen pops Ghost and just chases right in. Tries to predict the flash, can't quite do it properly. Either way, though, he gets out, loses the flash, and blue team is slaying Baron Nash, where APX right back in this one with the lead.
Yeah, not just right back in it, they're ahead. A big time play here. We see Smithy goes for the initiation. They set up the Bartle, but look at Ray already TPing in the backline. And although this bot team time for CLG to set up, Ray's in the backline now. He's right onto your ADC. There's no one back there to peel him. There's no one back there to do damage on him. And he's just going to actually delete Stixxay. We see the execution there from the flash pounce by Shrimp, picks himself up a quick double, and after that, it's lights out. The front line has crumbled. They lost their backline threat. Sure, Hui's able to stay alive, but that was all set up by Ray. They put the pieces together there. He was able to get a great flank, and just they're showing why they put so much priority on this guy. They give him the Rift Herald buff. They try to give him as much farm as possible, give up an early dragon so he can collect more farm, and he's making them pay.
And every single game, no matter how far behind Ray starts, whether it's 0-2 against a 3-0 opponent when you're against Energy, whether it's down 7 CS to 35 or something obnoxious like that, well, here's Ray, up 22, 6 assists, big, huge backline threat, caused that team fight win. Yeah, 2 levels up. Ray makes it work. Apex makes playing around Ray work. He's huge.
It's going to be very, very scary, and it's only going to continue to have that backline threat onto Stixxay, who's going to have to be really careful. And anytime Darshan and Smithy want to be dive buddies, want to go deep onto their opponent, it's going to be really tough for Afro and Hui to keep Stixxay safe. So that's something they're always going to have to be aware of. And now they're going to try to stem the bleeding as much as they can. They don't want to give up too many free turrets to this Baron buff.
And you saw on the graph down there the value of target selection. Stixxay got half the damage that Apollo did in that team fight because he got deleted first. And even though the rest of the lanes matched up pretty close to equally as far as damage profiles, now having an 80 carry makes you lose most battles. Mid lane going to go down pretty conveniently. Baron buff going to make that not too hard, honestly. They're going to go right back up the top lane tier 2, and it looks like it's not going to be too big of an issue at all. The question is, how much can they get during this Baron buff? Apex,
I think this
activating
one's
well.
too.
Yeah. At least it's low. CLG trying to wave through some.
Yeah, they're going to try to fight tooth and nail for it, but you can just feel that it's not going to happen. Afro is going to eat the shark.
And the turret goes down. Now the attempt for the fight. No, we're going to come across, and also a missed Ash arrow, so that should signal the retreat from Apex. And actually, the re-engage, and they land the stun on a Keen. But will they really follow through? Looks like the answer is no. CLG tempering their aggression at least a little bit here.
Just by the slimmest of margins, Afro able to dodge out on that ult. Ray actually went for the assassination on the support, does get his flash out, and that's a win alone. They pick up the turret, they get a summoner, but Keen may be caught here.
Oh, Ray tried to buy a bit of time, jump for the wall, then jump on back. They still want Keen. He actually turns off the Raven form, and now Timber Fate's going to land onto Shrimp. Do they have the kill? They're going to try with the gravity well. The trap is there. Shrimp should be dying. That's one. There's a shutdown. But in the back line they go, and Afternoon is dead. Ray making the work happen. Looking now for his Stixxay, who can't go anywhere. A double kill for the Fizz. Now with a Darshan. A hook on a Hui, but he cleanses out. He's going to be fine. The Shark not going to land either. Gravity well going to buy him some time, but no, Ray is still there. And now a triple for the Fizz. His first 3 of the game. Apex smashing this fight.
Darshan stayed out too long. He's going to probably get caught here too. This Fizz is going to be able to chase him down with a blue buff. He's not going to run out of mana, and Darshan is stuck away from home as Apex is looking to close in.
Still looking to knock down Xmithy, who takes a tunnel, pops the locket shield, and oh yeah, there we go. Nice job, leads the target. Apollo makes sure it happens.
Bullseye from Apollo.
Yeah, really nicely done. I mean, when NASA's used to lining up things from the Earth to the Moon, you figure Apollo can land someone halfway across the map right here on Summoner's Rift. So good stuff here. Turret's going to go down, and on to the first inhibitor in the mid lane. Apex, after this mid game, can do no wrong.
Ray is just going huge in these fights. The triple kill chases down with the assistance of Apollo. It's a delayed quadra for Ray, not too shabby from the top laner. And here's how it all started off. Ray starting with the blue buff, actually key because he could have gone in this fight. Does hop back and forth over, and CLG want to fight. They're feeling confident, and they are able to actually get the kill here on Shrimp right off the bat, but Ray is still lurking in the backlines. Their dive buddy system, once again, kind of fighting them as Afro gets eliminated by Ray, and now it's Stixxay's turn to go down, and while Darshan and Smithy are diving deep, Ray is just wreaking havoc in the backline. They have no answer for him, and it's seeming like it's just not working out in the team fights whatsoever.
Yeah, certainly not. They don't have a good answer for this Fizz. The front line can't really hold well enough. And Ray wreaking havoc now, 4-1 and 6. He's up 27 minions. He's 2 levels still over Darshan. He is big right here.
This isn't a Janna or something that Afro is playing where he can actually solo peel the Fizz and keep his AD carry safe. He's playing Bard. He has to have something to actually link that Q to actually CC the Fizz, and it's never been the case that he has the opportunity because the Fizz is back there by himself. He has the playful trickster to dodge out these stuns, these CCs, and it's just sticks to it, kind of getting run down by this Fizz over and over.
It really is. Apollo now. Lord Dominic's Regards added to the lineup, so he's trying to go for some tank busting against this Rek'Sai and this Echo, as far as the damage output's concerned. And well, Apex have now gotten a Mountain Drake themselves, so keeping the buffs pretty close to equal. And honestly, Apex are the team in the driver's seat here, the ones that are leading, so nice attempt. But Keen actually gets the red, I think. I saw him get the 67 gold, so.
Yep, Keen does have the red.
There we go, the auto attack's gonna come through. We were right after all.
It is worth mentioning, though, CLG, you know, they're still within striking distance. They're only down, you know, it is quite a big lead. It's, you know, 6.5K. It's definitely not insignificant whatsoever, but they have another dragon. They have double Earth, so they can obviously take the objectives very quickly. If Apex makes a mistake, you know, Baron can be gone off the map very, very fast. Obviously, this is who has most of his core items. He has a perfect hex score. He has the Abyssal, the Rylai, so his ultimate is going to do massive damage. It's the 3-item Caitlyn. They're picking up a lot of their power points to be able to kind of compete in these fights. And if Apex makes a mistake, if Ray kind of messes up and can get taken out, then they definitely could go off in one of these fights. I
think there's definitely the tools for CLG's backline to stay safe. They've got a Locket done. They've got a McHale's as well on Afromoon now. Theoretically, Ray should not kill people through Locket Shield into the McHale's heal. Theoretically, that's the idea here.
The problem has obviously been that Smithy is diving deep, and while Afromoo has had this McHale's, it's not enough to keep him safe.
Yeah, and we'll see if it changes this time around. Ray now has Guardian Angel. He's got 1 slot left open. 80% crit Caitlyn is here for Stixxay. He can definitely carry a team fight, but Apollo actually has good armor penetration for the frontliners. And in real DPS in these team fights, it's actually pretty close to equal, to be honest. But Stixxay with Hurricane will try to multiply that somewhat. Ray still on the split push. You can see just how well the last 5 minutes have gone for Apex. That entire gold lead earned right then. 6 turrets taken down. CLG have not taken one in quite a while. Looking for maybe bot lane tier 2 if they ever get a lead here.
Pretty high pressure situation here for CLG now with the base cracked open. One fight can easily be the game. Go straight down mid lane, don't even have to deal with the inhibitor turret. Baron is alive as well, and Apex has one of those Earth Dragons for themselves, so definitely going to be able to crack that down pretty quickly. So, you know, Ray is just looking to kind of draw as much pressure over here as he possibly can, and Apex is going to start up the Baron.
They definitely are. They're going to try to bait CLG in, and now's the invitation of how well can you play around this? CLG, such an experienced team. Darshan, nice take on the blue buff. Ray won't contest him anymore. But this is the big thing, right? Is Baron baits are one of the more complex things in competitive League of Legends. CLG have a wealth of experience. They're millionaires in experience right now. So Apex, the new kids on the block, okay, yeah, you got some real good veterans here, but coordinating this properly is another test. I'm going to keep saying it's a test for Apex. Look, you're beating CLG, that's great. Now, in this specific case, how you play it out.
And that is obviously the difficulty, especially, you know, we talked a little bit about the Nidalee versus Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai does kind of fall off a little bit as far as late game power, but Nidalee, it's hard for you to use all this gold that you have, because if you do dive in, there's always a chance to just get absolutely popped by the Victor, so he's going to have to play it safe, and Apex, once again, just going to start it up. They're going to keep trying to bait them in here, but we do have Smithy with those tremor senses, and he sees it.
They're killing it fast. They're popping the teleport to come in, and the Bard ulti to slow down the attempt on Baron, but Apex already peeled off. That is Afro missing an ultimate now.
They're starting
and
up again.
Re-attempt, 3,000 health. Darshan wants in for the fight. 1,000 HP. Smithy's there, and he gets it. Smithy secures the Baron, and Special's down as well. Counter Logic Gaming are winning this fight and looking for the battle. Keen jumps forward, pops the Zonia's heal back up to half HP. Smithy zones out Apollo. Now it's the CLG frontline looking for Ray. He pops over the wall, and now it's Smithy dangerously low, but Counter Logic Gaming have kited out. So far, so good. And Shrimp's gone, and Stixxay taking him out, looking for another one. Keen does not have Zonia's, and Keen goes down. A double kill for the new AD carry on Counter Logic Gaming. And now Ray has Guardian Angel, but he has been surrounded. Darshan wants to do the damage. Smithy rejoins the fight as well. looking for a bit of damage. Ray will pop GA,
Apollo too.
and the Bop gets stopped on. Yep, Apollo's gone. Ray's gonna be next. They all miss time the GA, but that's a shutdown. It's an ace and a Baron steer for CLG. A catastrophic Baron play for Apex.
Smithy coming up huge as he did time and time again at MSI. The team falls behind. Smithy comes in clutch, steals the Baron. Ray is not able to get to Stixxay, and Stixxay just went off in that fight. Beautiful positioning, huge amounts of damage. Strip stepping on that trap sealed his fate, and CLG turn it right back around. It's Apex that are going to lose the first inhibitor.
And wow, I just cannot believe that, but such a huge turnaround. The respawns will come in time, everybody, but Ray is up soon enough, and CLG will only take a middle inhibitor for that team fight. Of course, they're going to take a lot of that gold lead down. They're actually still down in gold, but they can position for Elder Dragon spawning in 35 seconds and use that to wedge themselves even farther ahead.
And here's the fight. So Apex sees they're zoning them off, and they say, hey, we can finish it. They backed off. Let's go for it. But Smithy is lurking on the backside. The pink ward is still there. He gets in, perfectly times it. Shrimp goes in for the pounce, but the smite is too late. Smithy steals it. Expecial in the meantime has already been taken out. It's a 5v4 already. And now Keen going deep, but he's very low. And here you see Ray tries to get back onto Stixxay, but he's zoomed. He actually can't do it. He can't get in on him. And now Stixxay is able to get constant damage out, uses the Bard Portal, gets around the side. This is Shrimp's fatal mistake. Steps on a trap, pop, there it goes. Just amazing positioning by the bot lane duo here from CLG, and all the credit in the world to Smithy for stealing that. You know, it's got to be a frustrating situation for Ray. If he had mana, which actually comes back to Darshan stealing that blue buff from him earlier, this could have been a very different fight.
Definitely could have been, but that's what it comes down to in some of these cases here.
That's the game. Yeah,
that's how the game works. Sometimes really minor things like that can actually be the breaking point here. And now is the attempt for the Elder Dragon. Baron buff still on CLG for long enough to matter, but it's Apex trying to contest with still a gold lead as a team. 3,000 health, another smite fight coming through. Keen in the front line, and the back line is in a bunch of trouble after trying to run away. Darshan in the front as well, but it's first the Rampage as Keen pops the Zonius, and a 2-for-1 though. Ray is making it work in the backside. Look for Stixxay, he has the damage, yes he does! Plus 370 for him. Now Darshan kites back in, but he's suddenly realizing that he is very much alone as who he is dead, and Darshan is the only one alive for CLG. 3 up for Apex, and there is a somewhat open middle inhibitor.
And Afro just trying so hard to stay alive against Ray, can't do it. He actually even picked himself up a Hextech Proto Belt, tried to jump away. He portaled over, and Ray is just getting too much done in the backline. This has been the story. When Ray goes big, the team wins. Look at him, already in positioning, in onto Afro. Afro does pop the Mikhails to try to just get out of here. He pops his Proto Belt. He's going to try to run, but Ray is on him. He's on him just non-stop. He can't get away. He tries to pop the ult, not able to do that. And Keen has done so much work in the meantime. You can look at the health bars across CLG. Stixxay was already low. Darshan was already low. They're all getting taken out by the ambient damage, by the AoE here from Keen. So Keen and Ray, the kind of two-piece combo here, just pinching in from either side and absolutely destroying CLG in that fight.
I gotta say, there's a sour taste in my mouth that Afremu waited so long to try to cast the Bard ultimate. He cast it at the very end on himself to try to stay alive, but if you're getting flanked upon, just ult the other team's backline and deal with Fizz, right?
Yeah.
Just 5v2 half the team of Apex. I don't
think they just didn't know that Fizz was there.
Yeah, maybe the cooldown was down, but at a certain point, Afremu had the chance to press R. He cast a Proto Belt at some point, and he had the ability. So unfortunate there. I'm sure there are mistakes on both sides, but either way, it's a team fight win for Apex, and props to them. Props to the Ray flank. Good job of him making it happen. He did it without teleport, by the way. He was pre-positioned for that fight. And now Apex are the ones once again ahead. Baron buff, of course, has dropped off of most of CLG now.
I did actually just check, and Ray was actually on a CLG ward coming from the bot side, so CLG was aware of it. They decided to take the fight anyway, so definitely a miscalculation there.
Rough stuff, kind of Logic Gaming. Making some good plays, making some bad ones, though. And Apex, even though they did lose that Baron fight, came right back in and found a good way to get themselves back in the game.
Still, it's CLG with one of their opponent's inhibitors down. The game is definitely very, very close. Apex has a massive team fight win, but is not able to secure the Elder Dragon. So CLG certainly is not out of this. You know, had they been able to get something big off of that, it would have meant a lot more.
It is worth noting we're seeing Keen continue to not care about the tanky build. He's got a death cap already. Void Staff's probably that last item there. And so he's the much more damage-focused Swain build here.
And you saw it pay off in that fight. He was absolutely shredding Stixxay, and Huhi, and all the front line. There's so much damage coming out of this guy. And with Ray in the back line, it's not like Stixxay just gets to sit there and free fire onto this Keen, right, to just take him out. So it definitely can be really problematic. I've also got to kind of nitpick a little bit here with CLG. There's no Executioner's Calling on Stixxay. There's no Nomicon on Huhi. There's no healing debuff whatsoever here, except for the Ignite from Afro. And yes, Ignite is up relatively often, etc., etc. He has Lucidities. He probably has Insight. So it's going to be a low cooldown on the Ignite. But still, there's really no reason to not invest the 800 gold as Stixxay and pick this up.
I definitely agree with you here in this one. I think, yes, he needs magic resistant lifesteal to try to survive what this phase is sending towards him, but you still got to dip towards Executioners. It's still the right choice here for Stixxay.
Or if they're saying, you know what, Stixxay can't get in to shoot on him, then it has to be Huhi getting him Morellos. Someone has to do something to make sure you always have that healing debuff on the Swain. Don't come for free pass.
Yeah, anyway, here we go. The Void Staff in that situation. But here we go. The rush for the Elder Dragon with 2 Mountain Drake buffs. They kill it pretty damn fast. Apex coming around, but it's not going to be in time. Nice pickup there for CLG, and they force the flash away thanks to Barley. That's 2 flashes used for Tempered Fate here. So Carnologic Gaming with a buff lead, a cooldown advantage, and by the way, 30% bonus true damage thanks to Elder Dragon with Baron spawning in 15 seconds. They've got a minute and a half still, more than that actually, to work with the Elder Dragon. And it means CLG going for a Baron bait with the poke advantage. A
huge mistake, honestly, from Apex to just not be in position for that Elder Drake. They are the ones who have been winning these fights and dictating the pace of the game, and then they just give up a free Elder Drake, and that's, pretty costly mistake because that gives huge priority to CLG now on the Baron.
Fizz constantly trying to bait out cooldowns by jumping over the wall and back. Darshan looking for the damage on a Keen who's wearing a blue up, taking a fair bit of damage. Gets Lantern right back out. Now to the back line goes Ray. Pops the Zhonya's early Afro kites over the wall. Darshan holding the front line. He's ignited, ults back, stays at half HP. Guardian Angel up, 1,000 health on him. Apex runs away. Their back line stays safe. Their front line is low. CLG's also, but Darshan holding a teleport is going to recall, heal up, get back into this mix. As CLG look to play the Baron bait. Hawkshot comes across. CLG waits it out. TP into the mid lane. Ray, I guess, can try to fight Darshan, but Darshan's full health with a dragon buff. This is not the easiest fight for Ray. Kites out. Nice little lantern, but, well, Darshan gets the shield. He's all right. Mid lane cleared out. And actual minions took down CLG's bot lane tier 2 turret, by the way, so Apex getting a random surge of gold, but CLG can burn down this Baron quite literally, actually, and Apex are not here to stop it.
Ray TP'd in, though. They definitely want to contest, but it's going to be too late.
Baron on top of Dragon 5. Yeah, good luck with this one. Ray goes in a bit by himself, but here comes Keen. Oh, he almost gets evaporated, but he buys a lot of time, and Xmithie gets rooted up. Ash Shower in the backline. Stixxay's getting shredded apart right now. Ray puts in the damage, but a nice flash kites out. Doesn't matter. Ray gets him. Xmithie burning down the 2 for 0. Then it's advantage Apex despite the buffs. Ray continues forwards. He's still got Guardian Angel, and CLG can't kill him. The magical Trinity to get away, a stun on a Ray, almost pops G8, and they get that. So the Guardian Angel down, but still CLG Force Destroy has to flash away from Xpecial's hook. And Apex have a 5v3. Baron buff or not, Apex are ahead right now.
Yeah, what an arrow from Apollo. Sneaks through the whole team, catches Stixxay, allows them to get that AD carry kill. So impactful. And CLG, it's crunch time. There's 30 seconds on both their jungler and their AD carry. And Apex could actually look to try to end here. What's 1 inhibitor down? It's going to be 2. Will they try to push for the game?
Well, for CLG, their minions are tanky. The melee minions will have huge reduced damage thanks to the Baron buff still on 3 of those members.
They're going to back off.
And it means that Apex can't really push any farther in. 10 seconds on Stixxay, 10 now on Xmithie. And -3 for a Baron is a roughly equal trade in gold, but the problem is they lost 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, so here's the fight once again. We see Afro's already in low. These guys are taking some damage. They secure it up, but Ray, once again, able to get deep. He actually draws them back in. Keen as well, diving deep, pops the Zhonya's. And look at this Ash Arrow, threads the needle, catches Stixxay. He does try to QSS, but Ray's already on top of him. And Stixxay is pretty much gone from this fight right off the bat. Xmithie gonna burn out as well. And it's just the backline threat from Ray, a fantastic arrow from Apollo, and that's gonna seal the fight for them.
It was nice patience by him to not burn it any earlier. We saw the end of that fight. So now it's time to reset. The middle inhibitor is back up. Apex, their base is fine. It's good enough that they can play around with it and not worry about minion wave. But they've got mid and bottom inhibitor dead. Now there are no neutrals to play for. It has to be the base that goes in because the Dragon and Baron are both gone for a long time. So it's Apex just playing the map now with minion wave advantages, with a 4,000 gold lead, and with Stixxay getting a Hex Drinker to survive Ray, not getting any kind of healing reduction to deal with Keen. And I don't know, that I understand he needs to live, and I respect that, but someone needs to get some kind of healing reduction out there, and it's not coming out of CLG. making Keen's life real easy to play this AP build.
It's also tough for Afro to even get the Ignite at the proper time when he's always being chased by Ray. Ray, though, does not have a GA. He sold it up after it was expired, and he's getting chased down. He has to be careful here, as CLG kind of has the mid lane inner track here, and Apex is maybe looking to flank. They might want to fight.
They might be looking for that one. By the way, bot lane is pushing in really heavily as well, and that got pinged. Pings from the blue team. Apex knows that bot lane is huge and pushing in, and CLG have to be careful because some empowered recalls are fast, but some of them are slow. The team split up, but Apex not looking to punish the split up counter logic gaming. The wave will get cleared, and Smithy spots Apex heading top lane for the triple inhibitor to push the game down.
They're going to have to clear out these waves, and it's going to be tough, as likely we will see Ray just kind of pushing in the mid lane, pushing in the bot lane constantly, as no one can really deal with this guy right now. And if they do decide to collapse, it's going to be tough for CLG, because CLG is in a position where Apex just has to wait. They just have to wait for the minions to do their work. They have super minions pushing in two sides, and CLG is likely going to have to be the ones that pick a fight very quickly before the minions just take them out, because there's already going to be minions on the inhibitors.
And Keen just 1v5ing on this side of the map, actually Ray's with them, so make that 2v3 or something to that effect. Ray, Stixay surviving the Javelin, dodging it barely. But it's still the top lane that's being attacked as they make sure to shepherd in the rest of the minions. Keen is actually still hitting the bot wave, by the way. He's right in front of that turret. Ray just buying so much time, but his mana bar getting a little bit lower. He's got no real regen. Keen gets poked down to half. Apex running out of resources.
One Nexus turret is already at half HP, so they are doing a good job kind of chipping away at this, trying to play it patiently. But yeah, Ray is low. He's going to go for the assassination on Stixay.
And they land a bunch of CC, but he gets out with a Quicksilver Sash. Keen pops Zonia's, but they can go back in for him, and the burst comes out. They blow up the Birdman, but the turret's down. Bardolty forces several flashes. Specialist to get out as well, but Xfinity wants him with Guardian Angel. He lands a lot of CC, and Special's a second casualty. There's a minion wave on CLG's Nexus, though. The opposite of game one of the finals. Apollo gets blasted, a triple kill for Darshan, but someone has to save the base before it's too late.
Yeah.
Ray getting chased down, will get slowed, pops the teleport, and he will get stunned up. So that's 4 for Counter Logic Gaming. Xfinitty's back to keep the base alive. CLG are in no real risk, and that's now 4 kills. 35 seconds on some of the respawns there. Keen's first up on that one. Can CLG get anything done with these minion waves so bad?
I don't know. I mean, they're going to go for at least mid lane inhibitor. I think they can probably do that. Stixay does tank up a Javelin. He has the lifesteal, though, to be able to heal back up, and Smithy is on wave clear duty. Darshan has TP.
Yeah, they should get middle inhibitor, no problem. There's no turrets up. Inhibs don't get backdoor bonus. They don't need the minion wave here. And yeah, Shrimp can try to be scary, but at this point, at this kind of range, players this good should not be tanking Javelins, and they're going to knock that one down without too much worry. The wave can get cleared up, knock down the minions. Middle inhibitor's respawning. That was a cannon minion, not a super. So mid inhib's coming up very, very soon. Bot inhib isn't far after that because Apex got them one after the other. So the map will reset back the other way. CLG will have the inhibitors. Apex will not. They're only missing one, but it's still not exactly ideal for them.
Yeah.
And during that time, CLG have a Baron respawning.
So here's the fight once again. Ray is going to go deep, nails the fish onto Stixay, and we see Apollo, perfect position, lands the arrow, but he has the QSS, backs up, and this is where Keen is going to get punished for that more glass cannon build. The Afro Mu Ignite comes in, and they blow him up. And now it's full retreat mode here for Apex, as they're just going to get collapsed on. Special goes down, and everyone's scattering, trying to survive here, but it's too little too late. It's cleanup time. Apollo goes down, and as we know, Ray eventually going to get chased down on the backside here too. One thing to keep in mind, though, for CLG is there's only one Nexus turret remaining. You know, it has lost a little bit of health. Backdoors are a potential, especially, you know, from a Fizz that this fed. If you do let someone get into your base, sure, you can go over to Baron. Sure, you have an inhibitor down, but there's no turrets defending your base. You can just take inhibitors. You can potentially even take the game if you're not careful. So it's always something that's going to be a threat.
With no turrets, an instant backdoor, even with inhibitors up, with no turrets, you just auto-win if they're not in the base at the same time. With a turret, you usually have enough time as CLG to come back and defend that, to usually punish that kind of play, get an ace, and try to win the game. So Counter Logic Gaming, I think, can feel somewhat safe, but just not too brash. Baron up in 12 seconds. Counter Logic Gaming have mid lane control. But look at that Apex saying, yeah, but top lane has no turrets, so we can take an inhibitor. And they also play for the red buff. They get that onto Apollo. That's nice for him. Red buff does deal damage on hit as well as on the dot, so it's really nice for Hurricane users like this Ashe.
Enormous wave as well, pushing top lane here for CLG, so someone is going to have to go answer it. But Ray does not actually have his TP right now. It's almost coming up. And CLG is kind of trying to get the inside track, trying to push down mid lane and make someone go answer top lane to try to get Baron priority.
Exactly, they have Baron priority. Sadly for them, though, Rift Scuttle was taken by Apex earlier, so that blue circle is going to be vision for them for the next half minute, roughly, as it despawns. CLG looking to make the rotations, using Magical Drainer to cut a few seconds off the travel time. Seeing if they can catch up with Keen, deal some damage to him, but he's going to heal right back up on this minion wave.
Worth mentioning as well, GA picked up by Afro. He's sick of dying to Ray, and it's something that they're going to have to deal with, but they are starting up the Baron, and here comes Ray.
5,000 health on the Baron. Shrimp is in range. It's going to be smited by Xmithy conveniently. Keen on the backside. Stixay in the middle of enemy champions getting blasted right here, but Shrimp dropping as well. It's a cluster in this pit, and it's so far a kill onto Stixay. CLG loses one. They might lose a second. Guardian Angel pop. Afro's dead after the Guardian Angel as well, and it's Darshan stuck in the middle of the team. Ray out of mana, but doesn't really matter. He's the tank. Keen getting all the work done. Darshan's getting blasted, and he just barely survives. Ray loses Guardian Angel, but stays alive. Darshan running to the left, trying to buy a bit more time. Counterlogic Gaming can maybe try to play the minion waves to stay alive a bit longer. Darshan regenning with Ocean Drake, actually. It's actually a really big deal how much health he's getting back with this one. As long as he stays out of combat, he's getting massive amounts of health back. Now back to 1,000. He will eventually die, but it'll take even longer now as he runs away from Shrimp, gets blue spotted, jumps to the minions, flashes away, still buying time. Darshan refused to go down, but the rest of Apex are inside the base trying to win against Counterlogic Gaming. It's a 2 versus 3 on the other side as Darshan buys time, but here comes Ray for the game-winning push. The arrow lands on the front line. They're trying to pick off Huhi, and they're going to do that. Apollo might be next up, but Ray is tanking the turret, so we should ignore the fact that Xmithy is there. Darshan, though, actually died. He didn't make it back. It's Apex trying to win the game. Xmithy picks up one. Ray hitting the turret, and he can't stop Xmithy, so they're now on to the Nexus, but
5 seconds on Stixay. They're almost
up. Coming back, and so is Afmu. The game is not over. Xmithy is actually invincible, pushing the rest of them out of the base. CLG just squeaks by with the skin of their teeth, and they don't lose the game just yet.
What a hero play by Smithy, and Darshan buying so much time allows for the respawn. I thought that game was over for sure off of the back of that fight, which was an absolute disaster and could have been even worse if Smithy did not nail that smite.
And there's a power play now a little bit for CLG because Apollo is dead for longer than Darshan, so theoretically, they can make claim for this. Actually, Shrimp overextending. A couple hits will do it. The snipe won't be enough. And Ray drops in time to block the shot anyway. But as I was saying, Darshan will be there 8 seconds before Apollo, which theoretically is a dragon power play.
That trap from Shrimp actually saved him because it procced his jungle enchant, which procced Rylai's, which slowed Stixay and did not allow him to get the headshot. The headshot plus would have killed him there for sure. So the smallest of margins there for Shrimp, which would have been huge because Elder is up, and without a jungler, oof.
Yeah, that's taken here. 54 minutes into the game, 4,000 gold apart. These teams are neck and neck. Tell your friends, watch this game. It is insane. And by the way, they're going to have at least one more best of threes. Bless your soul for changing the format. I'm so glad we get more than one game.
This game is hype.
This game is super hype, and we're going to get more of them. Xmithy looking to clear the waves, the wards, and make sure that they can get vision control for this dragon attempt here. The CLG dual lane coming out of their base down the mid lane. Darshan to join them. Apex, though, actually with a bit of wave control, they make CLG react to them. They're pushing the waves in first. Baron buff, only 30 seconds left on the few members of CLG that have it.
Yep, Ray did purchase another GA. It's on cooldown, though, so he's not going to have that. He's going to have less combat effectiveness, and although he's had a massive lead over Darshan the whole
Ray's
time,
backdooring.
He's going for it.
He's going for the attempt, and again, there's no turrets anymore, so Ray just making the team react to him. CLG has to walk over to Ray, which means that Apex can walk over to Baron, or sorry, to Elder Dragon. CLG really can't get both.
Do they have the confidence, though? I mean, Smithy can steal this, and he's been on point with his smites.
They're going
trying
for Ray.
To chase down Ray.
It's Smithy. I think Smithy should leave and stay alive. He's getting caught, though, and Smithy's going to die, which still gives over Dragon. Yeah, they trade Smithy for Ray, but that Dragon was going to get taken regardless. That, I don't think, matters on a Shrimp. I think he's going to live no matter what. He gets the Lantern. I think it's a mistake by Smithy. Ray baiting for Dragon, I think, is fine. I can accept that trade, but Smithy did not need to be there.
I think if Smithy wanted to stay, he needed to wrap around to the backside somewhere where he could not get collapsed on like that and try to just tunnel over and go for it. But he did not have a ward, so he couldn't. And now Special may be caught. CLG's going to go for it.
Look at the damage. 4v4, and Huhi gets blown up, though. That's a huge mistake, and Darshan getting popped as well. Afro gets hooked, a great hook by Special, and now the chase in. It's a 2 versus 4. Counterlogic Gaming must run from this one. Stixay got to step up, look for Shrimp. He's going to do the damage as minion waves flood into CLG's base. All Apex has to do is buy the time. Stixay does not have flash. He can't go for the big play just yet, and Darshan losing health rapidly. 2 versus 4, huge minion waves. Apex looking to win the game right now with the
Minions
Dragon
are on the
buff.
Nexus. There's 3 super minions, and they may actually just finish this off if CLG can't get back right now. The Nexus is falling. It's down to, about half HP already. It's down to a third HP.
I think this is the game for Apex. I think game 1 is gonna go to the new guys on the block right here, making the points happen. Here comes a 4v2 push. Do they even have the damage? No, they don't. There's the Nexus going down. A game 1 win, a huge one, a slobber knocker for Apex.
What a game between these two guys. So close, right down to the wire. At CLG, it all comes down to that magical portal. They're trying to go through the journey, and they just funneled straight into Keen, who absolutely destroyed them on the other side. This full damage Swain, CLG got destroyed.
Yeah. So Keen, highest damage of the game, 61,000 in an hour-long match. Actually, under an hour, so over 1,000 damage a minute on Swain is amazing. The full damage build worked out for him. Apex, honestly, looking like the fastest rising team in NA right now. Envy's one of those as well. They already ended their week with 2 match wins, but Apex could be another team to do that as well. And what an insane story for them to come back in. A lot of dejected players, bench players, relegated players like Apollo and Xpecial. Well, turns out they're going to go and hit really hard. Taking game 1 against the defending champions is certainly a way to make a statement.
No kidding. It was close all the way. Both teams had their chances to win. And at the end, it really just came down to CLG getting a little too hyphy. They thought they could chase them down. They thought they could, take the win for themselves. But such a good turnaround from Apex, realizing the mistake that CLG had made, funneling through this into all the Swain AoE, into all the Ashe damage. So a great game, but game 1 is going to go to Apex, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen next.
I can't wait to see what's going to happen either. Hopefully we get all 3. It's going to be a fun series, but for more on that game 1 win by Apex, let's head over to Dash at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Can you imagine 2 more of games like that? I mean, that was crazy back and forth.
In about 2 hours, I'll be able to.
Right? Which is being exhausted. Laying on the desk. But as they mentioned, I mean, it really was such a high-action game, and it just trading power, trading control of the game left and right. We're just going to roll through some gameplay here and kind of break it down as we go. Starting at 26 minutes into the game, kind of the first real big power shift in the game. Apex is going to pick up 4 kills here in the mid lane, plus the Baron on the back end of this one.
Yeah, it starts basically with an overextension by CLG. Afro gets what looks like a good ult, you get 3 people in it, but they funneled through this long lane, and by the time that they finally get the engage off, Ray's behind and causing total chaos.
Yeah, that was a combo that CLG had used multiple times, where it's Afro Bard ultimate into the gravity field from Huhi, but the Lantern from Xpecial this time gets Apollo out of there, and they're able to turn it right back around.
Yeah, so they pick up Baron off that as well. So
right, exactly. So that's kind of where we were like, oh, okay. With Swain and all that, you'd expect Apex, maybe they're going to have control of this. They're going to take the game, right? At that point, you're kind of willing to say like, hey, there's a possibility that if the team plays it correctly, they kind of just close the game out methodically from here. That is absolutely not what happens in this game. It's not 10 minutes later, 36 minutes of the game. Xmithy comes up with a big Baron steal in the back of the pit. CLG then is able to pick up 4 kills on the back end of this fight, kind of just swinging things back the other direction.
Exactly. This is going to be another Bard ultimate. Actually, I think Aframu's going to delay this one to allow him time to get there. Teleports do come in, actually. There's the Bard ultimate, and now Smithy's just in position. As you said, at this stage in the game, Apex have so much control. They're going to try and burst it down. They have Nidalee there. They have confidence in their burst combo, but Smithy gets right in there. I think he might have gotten the knock-up on that pounce as well, but after the steal, they're able to turn around. And look at this magical journey for the reset. Aframu's going to get people out after this, and they're going to be able to turn it right back around. They go over the wall. Smithy's able to stay alive and start healing. Stixay goes in for the giant headshot there on the trapped Nidalee, and they're able to clean up a bunch of extra kills on top of the Baron to swing this game right back to the middle.
That's one of those things that's underrated. Like when a Bard ults the Baron, like chaos breaks out in communication. Stay on the Baron, turn off. Like, what do you do? And so, you have a team that probably hasn't been in too many crazy situations like this on stage. I know that they have a lot of expert players, but like not together, right? Exactly. So, that is a situation where you're just like, what am I doing exactly? And you saw that CLG was able to capitalize on that kind of chaos.
Yeah, that being said, Apex kind of distinct lack of vision around the Baron Pit. They did have the pink ward inside, but they didn't have a ton of vision on the backside of the Baron Pit to track Xmithy and his ability to come in and steal. So maybe something that they'll work on for the future games, putting themselves in a more advantageous situation when they are playing around those global objectives. But again, this was just the story of the game, because from there we had about 25 minutes more of trading fights. It seemed like every time a team went to go start an objective, the other team shows up and wins that fight, and it just traded back and forth.
The team that had inhibitors down would be the team getting the neutral objectives, so then they would be able to use those buffs to sustain and defend until the inhibitors came back up. So rarely do we see multiple Elder Dragons taken in a game. It's got 10-minute respawn timer, and it doesn't spawn till 35, so usually we're like, oh, game's over after you see one of them, but we got multiple ones, plus a bunch of Barons.
With that back and forth that we saw, CLG on your screen here, they're going to be going over their strategies for Game 2. Of course, the game ended with a little bit of an overextension by CLG. I don't know if they got overconfident in what they thought they could start a fight there without Ray being on the table here in this final fight, but Elder Dragon having been picked up by Apex, it was a very sketchy engage.
Yes. This game ends in a very magical journey right into the support. Like, they want to take down Xspecial. As they thought he was alone, I believe, but all the damage was right around the corner in the fog of war there, and they turn around quickly. At this stage, you're just like, unless Stixxay makes the most godly play.
You're looking for MSI Stixxay.
Actually,
like, you're
crits
looking
everything, and
I think it's a situation where CLG is just like, oh god, we need to end this game. Like, we think if we get a couple kills here, they actually had a minion wave in the mid lane, and both their side lanes were pushed into them. So, like, the game's going to stall out for another 10 minutes if they play it slower. So I think they were like, hey, if we make this play, game's over for us. So let's go for it. And they ended up, you know, going right into
they take a stab at it, but I think we have to acknowledge here real quick, even though, again, early in the season, but our defending champions in a world of best of threes have not yet won a game. They get 2-0'd by TSM. They start off their series against Apex, a game down. So, you know, for them, you got to wonder what the mentality is like, what the discussions are like in the back room. Not to say that they're necessarily freaking out. Lots of experience on that team. So hopefully Zix can get them kind of refocused in on Game 2. With all of that behind us, we've got to talk about our player of the game, Ray, on that Fizz. So far for him in the LCS, it's been like, I'm getting focused insanely much in the top lane. We saw it with Santorin and Quas going ham on him. Here he started down, you know, 20, 30 CS early in the game, but he's finding a way back into the game every single time.
The crazy thing is, like, we had Dyrus on the desk yesterday, and he was talking about how much he hated being a top laner playing from behind. Ray had 10 CS at 9 minutes, and, like, next thing you know, he's 7-2 or something with, like, even CS with Darshan. You're like, how does that happen? This guy's a monster.
Yeah, I mean, I started this year with, you know, trying to work out some expectations for Ray. I was like, oh, I'll watch a couple of the games from LPL. Pastry Time says he's really good. But I wasn't convinced until, you know, we get well into day 2 and they're actually playing against CLG and Darshan, and to see the effectiveness that he has diving that back line. Yeah, I'm convinced.
There you go. Kobe's convinced. Good on Ray for picking that one up for his team. We'll see how he performs in Game 2. Real quick, we want to update you on what's going on over on Stream 2. TSM able to pick up a win in their first game pretty handily over Team Liquid, and a lot of that's coming through that focus back to the mid lane, putting Bjergsen in a position where he can push his lane up quite significantly. We're going to have a replay to kind of show you what results because of that, but definitely putting a little bit more focus back in that mid lane and empowering Svenskeren to be very aggressive in the jungle.
Yes, Svenskeren goes for the dive. They started off. This is such clean execution on their dive as well. Bringing Hanser down, who also earned a very big lead in his solo lane. And then this one right there, that was a mistake by Team Liquid. And that's just an extra kill there to snowball these guys. Everyone's banning Ryze right now. Bjergsen got the champion that has the potential to snowball and take off and overtake a game. And then he gets early kills on that champion.
Yeah. With that, Hanser did also pick up player of the game, so that's important to note that he was a big factor in that victory there. Team Liquid responded, subbing in Dardoch. That Game 2 is currently happening over on Stream 2, so if you're curious, go ahead and check into it. We have to take a quick break following that crazy Game 1 here on this stream, but stick around because when we come back, it's Game 2 between Apex and CLG, and it's sure to be a good one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Game 1 of the first match of the day. Counter Logic Gaming taking on Apex. The crowd is cheering. The game is afoot. Here we go. Okay, they're going to spite it, and it is going to go to Ray, but now Shrimp's got to run away. He's low in health, goes right back in. Wants CLG, but the first blood comes through as Xspecial drops to Xmithy. The back line under Stixxay. It's Ray looking for the kill, trying to get him, and yes, Stixxay goes down. Apex to keep going. Ray will not die. A double for Shrimp, making a third kill coming through, and a triple for Shrimp. Darshan wants in for the fight. 1,000 HP. Smithy's there, and he gets it. Smithy secures the Baron, and Xspecial's down as well. Stixxay in the middle of enemy champions getting here, but Shrimp's dropping as well. It's a cluster in this pit.
CLG's gonna go for it. Look at the damage.
4v4, and Hui gets blown up though. That's a huge mistake, and Darshan getting popped as well. Africa took the great hook by X Special. Here comes a 4v2 push. Do they even have the damage? No, they don't. There's the Nexus going down. A game 1 win, a huge one, a slobber knocker for Apex.